Friday the 13th of September 2013, and we're at Pinnacle. This is an update on the graves clearing site where Mrs. Howell is laid. This is it. The clearing continues. The clearing continues unabated from this developer. He cares not because he's digging out. He's already dug out the ancestors' bones from GUNGO Walk, which is, I'm swirling you around, Pinnacle. This is GUNGO Walk right here. He's already blown out the ancestors' bones. God knows what he has done. What a shame this is for us. Because while he has blown this out, he's now proceeded to Mrs. Howell, but he's also working across these mountains. The foothills of which the Howellites live, and they're evicting them now to make a new highway, so they say. But I say they're removing Rasta in life, which is now September 13, 2013. 80 years old, young Rasta is. And this is Pinnacle. You see? But they're removing us yet again. Tell me what you got to say about this, Brother Kenute. Talk to the people. Come up in here, Brother Kenute. Yes, Rastafari. Yes, fire.
With the move where the people are making, pertaining to the heritage site and how close. Because I think the heritage site should get some space around it. And I'm dissatisfied with the distance that they come.
Okay.
Overall.
Yes, because we're seeing they're clearing here at Mrs. Howell grave to put a house.
Yes.
And the man is still clearing. Yes. So, as usual, they're not getting permission from no health department of Jamaica, neither from the parish council or nobody, and they're proceeding. Yes. Now, my brother, I'm going to gently swift over to GUNGO Walk.
Yes.
And then I'm going to get forward to you. This is GUNGO Walk here. This is GUNGO Walk. This is the burial place of the ancient Howellites that came off the plantations after slavery with nothing. Nothing, basically nothing. Their grave sites have been removed by this developer, Michael Lake. After 19 plus years of burial at this site, they've now seen fit to put their houses. These are greedy Jamaicans, you know. They live in the graveyard. They're squatting in the graveyard. Very greedy. Doesn't set a global example of what a Jamaican's supposed to be or think. My brother, I'm going to come right with it. Right to you again, Brother Kenute. Brother Kenute, tell me how old are you, Brother Kenute?
I'm 69.
Okay.
And I was born in Pinnacle and grew in Pinnacle and live on Pinnacle for these 69 years. I never go anywhere else.
My brother, how comes this man, like all the rest of man before him, come and said that he owned Pinnacle without a penny? Mr. Howell never sell Pinnacle. The Ethiopian Salvation Society of New York has not sold Pinnacle.
No.
How come these people on this land and get a title from the land department of Jamaica saying they squat on our land, so they got the right to be on our land, dig up our ancestors and put you off now? Tell me, my brother, is that justice?
No justice in it. I do think we have all the right of Pinnacle for all the destruction that we have been through to Pinnacle, and to be here now and been fighting for Pinnacle. I think that is corruption.
Government corruption?
Yes, because we work hard for it and we fight for it, and we never leave it. We never leave Pinnacle. We've been destroyed from the top of Pinnacle, and we never have anywhere else, so we had to go down to the foot of Pinnacle, and we all live there, leaders and everybody. have to live on Pinnacle up to now.
So now this would be the real second exodus, the clean out of Rasta for Pinnacle?
Definitely.
That's what they're engaged in now?
Definitely.
And what you think with all these people that shout, Rastafari, Rastafari, Rastafari? Tell me, what do you think about them?
Well, from a point of view, you have to be a real Rasta, you know. You have to be a real Rasta, regardless in what realms or position you are in. You have to be a real Rasta from your heart, because you could be shouting Rasta for all your life. You have to be a real Rasta to find and to know what Rasta is, because many said Rasta and they don't know nothing about Rasta.
My brother, you are one of the privileged few to walk with Mr. Howell. Tell me what Councillor Howell, as you called him, would have done in this situation. I know he predicted that you were going to return to Pinnacle.
Yes.
And this is what you were going to return to. But you never left Pinnacle. You're on the foothills of Pinnacle that they're currently wiping you off from. What do you think the councillor would have done in this situation with them trying to remove the rest of the Howellites off of Pinnacle? In this year, September 13, Friday the 13th, 2013. Fire away!
Yes, well, I think my leader have his own time to deal with all things, you know.
Fire.
So in a case of like this now, he will just stay one side and let time and nature perform their work for him, you know.
Fire.
Because whatever him set is well set.
Rastafari.
So you wouldn't get, yes, you wouldn't get him to come and step on a man's foot or prove things. Him set everything already.
Karma, fire.
Yes, so him just go calmly and let time and nature do the work for him.
Don't tell lies.
Yes.
How do you feel gazing out at GUNGO walk with the desecration of the ancestral burial
I
spaces?
feel desperate, knowing that I was born here and not even the privilege of a freedom of it. Because when we look around and what the heritage site has come to, it's like I'm in a cage to what I know Pinnacle was. I run to the river from Pinnacle, down to the river and all around, and I'm still on Pinnacle. Now if I step just a little way from the heritage site, I feel like I'm in a cage because I'm in somebody else's place as I see it.
But there's a cage you in, my brother. So you're speaking it right. You see, with me, I say with truth comes justice. And with justice comes security.
Right.
I have to ask you this question now. And to ask you to do something. You have to talk to the Minister of Justice. What would you say to him now? His name is Senator Mark Golden. Tell me what you have. Talk to Senator Mark Golden. I'm not going to say anything else.
Well, definitely, I would like him as a man of, as they say, a man of justice, to review the situation, not from here, but from distance. Because if they review it from here, it look away. But I want them to review it from distance and see the struggle that we have been through, the destruction that have taken place without a cause. So please review it from distance and let justice have its course. We don't want the mind of people or the mind of men to decide and to give what they feel that they should give. I want justice to have its course.
Friday the 13th, 2013 at Pinnacle. Yes, Brother Ken.
From a distance. From a distance. please, I thank you.
What would you say to the Minister of National Security? Wait, let me find this again, my brother. As you're here, we're looking over the early mountain tops of Pinnacle. This is Friday, September 13, 2013. And we're following up on them still continuing the clearage of Mrs. Howell's gravesite. Let me zoom in a little bit. This is it. We're over now to GUNGO Walk. This is the ancestral burial spaces at Pinnacle. The Jamaica National Heritage Trust has failed to protect Pinnacle because while engaged in these discussions, the developer, Michael Lake, who is the major shareholder of the company Island Homes and St. Jago Hills Developers, has proceeded to plant himself and to destroy our ancestral burial sites. These are black people from the continent of Africa, Paul Bogle's children from St. Thomas, that stood up and says, we are not going to have this. We want to be Africans. We want to continue our African traditions. And this is what happened. Minister of Culture, Lisa Hanna. What do you have to say to her? Let me set the scene. Minister Lisa Hanna's grandfather, Edward Rashid Hanna. It cannot be disputed now, you know. He had a relationship with Pinnacle. Now, what's the relationship he had at Pinnacle that allowed him, as head of the Boy Scouts Association of Jamaica, and this is part of the record, Freedom of Information will get you that he was the first one to put out 4,000 Rastafari off here through the Sligoville Gate, which they never left. They just circled and they came right forward. Edward Rashid Hanna, now you have Lisa Hanna as a Minister of Culture and Youth. I've got issues, you know. She says our youth are crazy. That's the first thing. Our black youth are crazy. Won't you be crazy if your grandfather, Lisa Hanna, put these people's mothers and their grandmothers out to the door without anything burning their homes? Where is your sympathy or empathy for black people? Now you have appointed Michael Lake, the developer, your living lover's brother, okay, to be on the board of trustees of the Jamaica National Heritage Trust. We're hitting this hard, you know, my brother Ken Youth. You're here and there. What's your message for the Minister of Culture, Lisa Hanna?
Well, my message to her is that experience teaches wisdom.
Fire.
And from my experience, I do think that the minister in this portfolio is not experienced enough, especially on the side of culture.
Rastafari.
Because reading about culture is one side of a kind, but dealing and knowing culture is another side of a kind that need experience. So from my understanding, I do think there is some ways of experience needed in the ways of culture.
And youth, and our youth.
And youth as well. Because as far as I see, been here around this thing for 10 years. And to the back pedaling.
The last 10 years.
Yeah.
With this culture. Yeah, man.
It gave me reason. It gave me reason to say that experience we need.
Yeah. I used to see, not interrupting you, my ancient, with your permission. I could remember a day when I used to see the Honorable Babsy Grange up here a lot. And she came up here a lot in our portfolio as Minister of Culture. I think that was her portfolio. you know, and I also saw the Prime Minister Bruce Golding up here taking a special interest that he did a compulsory acquisition. That means the developer doesn't own these lands. The lands, the government take it from the developer, some kind of payment with whatever, they acquire the property, and to make that space available for the global family, for Mr. Howell and the birth of the Rastafari movement here. What I don't see, people are telling me the Prime Minister does not understand what's happening at Pinnacle. And I don't believe that for one moment, because we met with her. I know I personally talked to her when she was in the opposition. When Bruce Golding came to power, I talked to her at a family's funeral, and she said this is high on her agenda if she ever came back to power. Look what's high on the agenda since my Prime Minister came back to power. We're sweeping the mountainsides of Pinnacle. Yes. This is what's happened. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller. This developer, Michael Lake, has dynamited the whole mountainside, the burial space of your ancestors. I know Auntie Lily won't like this if anybody go bombing her out or bombing anybody off of the mountains there. You know, look at this. This is what was allowed to happen from Bruce Golding to Portia Simpson Miller. This is what the Heritage Trust protected, isn't it? Or is just the top here that's vested with the title? My brother, quickly. Minister of National Security, Peter Bunting. I mean, he's to make sure that we secure in our persons and places at all times. That we can't have any corrupt person coming and saying that they own land and they're going to squat on land, or ancestral land with this much value from the time of the Spanish, from the 1200s, the 1300s, right on, the archaeological value of Pinnacle and the global reach of Rastafari. What do you have to say to the Minister of National Security that cannot even secure Pinnacle and bring some of these criminals to power? What's happening here? That this one man, Michael Lake, his brother Richard Lake, Louis Sherwood, Lisa Hanna, and the whole of the Heritage Trust keep us hostage. What do you have to say to the Minister of National Security, Peter Bunting? Don't cry, Mr. Bunting.
Well, I would say the Minister of Justice is by favor, as far as I am concerned.
Red hot.
It's by favor. Because things like these, I shouldn't think it should be out of the hands of the Minister of Justice.
And security.
And security. Because this is important. So I do think people like them should take it up on table and to administer the rights to people. And don't lag. Because other things that is stupid, I see them run around it. And these important things, nobody pay it no mind. So the Minister of Justice,
conspiracy of silence in Jamaica. While the rest of the world is talking about Pinnacle, there's a conspiracy of silence in Jamaica, and that goes from our reggae artists, all of them, that say Rastafari, Rastafari. The radio announcers, the majority of them, they're into some little spooky when Pinnacle has been declared national heritage. And Rasta is saying it in Rasta heritage alone, because we're all Ethiopians. Happy New Year, happy belated New Year, my brother.
Be on table in front of them every time.
Yes, Fire.
To see that it deal with.
Yes, yes. And we're going to acquire lots. We don't need no more lots. You come up with the bottom of the bump heritage. We are no longer going to negotiate from a position of inferiority and power just because we feel we need to trash this out on the government to government and government opposition level. Because let's say it. Bustamante and Manley are the ones who destroyed the Rastafari movement to this day, and the parties that they support. It's a duopoly of corruption there and conspiracy of silence surrounding Pinnacle. Now we call on Minister Mike Henry, that's looking for reparations, to look for reparations to Rasta right here in Jamaica, because it's kind of hypocritical running into Trinidad looking for reparations or St. Vincent or wherever they've gone. But but the government couldn't spend $5 million Jamaican to acquire the top of Pinnacle free and clear. So Rasta is going to come to the top of Pinnacle now, where this thieving developer still own. And I call him a thief because he hasn't paid a cent for Pinnacle, and he hasn't lived here longer, and he went and he got a title, say he squat here. So these big boys are squat on Rasta land, and the government are give them title for things that ain't theirs. You see what I'm saying to you? So I'm saying, how many of the big man involved in this? That's why we ain't getting somewhere with this. But listen to this. Pinnacle was destroyed for, as they say, ganja. Mr. Howell was known as the ganja farmer. Wait a minute. This is from the University of the West Indies. What's the man's name that did the ganja commission? He wrote that Mr. Howell was a two-bit ganja farmer. I want to know, where's his name again? How come he never got to meet Leonard Percival Howell? Lived here, Leonard Percival Howell transitioned in 1981, a couple of months before Bob Marley, February 1981. He was laid down on February 25th, 1981. So we're asking now, where are all these people? Barry Chavanis, that's his name. I remember meeting him just before the last conference that he held at the University of the West Indies, and he said me, how does come? I says, no, my time is better spent at Pinnacle with Leonard Howell, because I've witnessed what you've done to his legacy, and that's the legacy of Jamaica. Tell me, my brother, finally, I'm going to wrap up from a bit, and I'm going to shut up and let you talk. Tell me what is on your mind this day. I see Sizzler looking for power. This one looking for power, deny being this. Well, we know what came up here and did. But we're not going to wash that laundry in public, because the justice is set for those who tarnish the pinnacle of pinnacles. Because it's sacred site that our ancestors, who has no rest in the cemetery, has now congregated as a place to rest at the pinnacle of pinnacles. Tell me, my brother.
Yes, me as a Howellite. Me as a Howellite.
And what is a Howellite, my brother? Explain to the world, what's a Howellite?
Howellite is a man that are people who have been with Prince Regent through all the struggle.
So you said they're the founding, the people that stood with Leonard Howell. Your mother, your grandmother, your great-grandmother stood with Leonard Howell in this fight for justice to black people and self-governance in this place. So you, 69 years young, was born at the Pinnacle. They can't take that away, you know.
Up to now, I'm at Pinnacle.
You're at Pinnacle.
Right now, I'm standing on the top,
Pinnacle.
which I'm so proud of. To know we've been driven around and around, and we go around and around until we come right back on the top. So then, as a man of order, from the founding father of Rastafari, I decided I can't put my foot in anybody's shoes. I just decided to wait and time, because that's his order. Wait and time. Time is the master.
Rastafari. So yeah. My brother, I see it like this. And I'm going to tell you, people call me a conspiracy theorist, you know. But the only thing a conspiracy theorist would tell you is that I'm speaking what I see. So if to you it's a conspiracy and it's a theory, it's reality for me. In this year, 2013, we stand here Friday, September 13, 2013, at the top of Pinnacle again. And when you watch them root out the ancestral bones out of Pinnacle, all right, at the same simultaneously, the Minister of Works and Transport and the Land Department has moved through where the Howellites lived, and now got a lot of Howellites scrambling with their families. This is the first time since the 50s, 1950s, that these families have had any kind of security, have been able to reconstruct a little dwelling. I know my brother Noel, the first time that he was able to construct something, his grandmother, staunch Howellite, still living in the foothills. And as soon as the testimony from the court went out, on the final day when the magistrate questioned the Howellite about what happened to Mr. Howell's land, and he said he still lived here, now suddenly The Howellites, these Howellites are being moved off of Pinnacle to make a road. Now, I feel in my heart that if there's anybody at this hour should be given a land spot at Pinnacle are those people, because they've never left Pinnacle, and this is a ploy of the developer to move us out of Pinnacle in life or death. And I want to tell him the Pope of Rome is dead. He could never conquer Rasta. We know you're Roman Catholic and you're into restoring San Diego de la Vega. Let me tell you, Mr. Lake. Let me tell you, Mr. Lake, something. You're in the GUNGO walk burial ground. A there the ancestors lay you down. And your story done set in the ground. Let me tell you something, Lisa Anna. Your history tied up with Rastafari. You better do the wise thing and make sure the thing done right. Else you not got no legacy. Your family not got no legacy. No legacy for Hannah's globally. Other we say. Let me tell you something, Lake family. Oh no, in the lake of fire already. For not one day passes by and not 1 minute the Rasta don't put oh no in the fire. Just time. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller, arise and judge these decrepit demons that seek to tarnish your name, seek to tarnish you as a black woman, and carry on with this decrepit stuff on your watch. Run them out, all of them. Get to the truth, ask them. And Ancient, you think the Prime Minister need to just come forward and meet with Rasta right now? Stop going around and meeting Rasta at the bingy grounds of Scott's Pass. And we got to talk to, we got to talk about Pinnacle, we got to talk about Coral Gardens. So the first you run around, and Lisa Hannah keeps them running around in a circle. Mitzi, this is for you. You Prophet Greg, the whole pack, oh no. You see, we are watching all on no Marcus, the whole pack, oh no, Judas Iscariot. We are watching, you know, this Friday the 13th, my seal, oh no, from the heights of Pinnacle. Anytime, oh no, walk against Rastafari, anyone, oh no, it's judgment right now, you know. A Pinnacles get declared, and that the judgment seat of our father, Kid Maui, Haile Selassie, and Empress Menin, with his son, Guru Mirage, the Right Honorable Dr. Leonard Percival Howell and his Queen Tenet Bent Howell, all the saints in the Star Gate, Prince Zari Jacob, we still waiting for you to take your seat and stop tiding with people who never defend Ethiopia, because at this moment the strong stance of Ethiopia for your grandfather, Emperor Haile Selassie, was made from this point, but we can't even get a sound from you. We can't get a sound from you. So now African liberation is wrapped up in religion. We're not going to take that. Not this year. This is 2006 Fire and Flames. Ancient, run it out. Yes, Ancient.
Well, give thanks to give thanks to Mr. Leonard Howell, the founding father.
Leonard Percival Howell, the gang guru.
I am my leader in all my life, all my doings. And I'm very happy to be Howellites, because
you get the initial doctrine of the Rastafari movement. And it wasn't no religious movement. Tell them it's an industrial movement where you walk your behind off from day to night. Self-reliance.
And I see it. And truthfulness.
Yes.
And lawfulness.
Yes.
Because in Pinnacle, me born here and over 1,000, nearly 2,000 we live here for years. And we never bring a case to Spanish Town. We live as brothers and sisters, you know, man.
Yes, I.
For those numbers of here in Pinnacle.
Yeah, man.
So I do think, and I'm glad for Mr. Howell.
No backbiting, bad mind, backstabbing up here.
And we all should get to him. We all should get to him. Don't care where he is.
But tell them don't come to Pinnacle and play, because them a drop it heart attack.
Serious thing.
Huh?
Thank you.
Rastafari lives. Give thanks, yeah, again?
Thanks.
Watch the sweep of the mountains. This is Kingston in that mist right there. The container port. I got to go to the top and show you the infamous Goat Island.
I'm trying to describe.
Yeah, there's Old Harbor there. This is in the foreground there. Where you see, oh, look, the container terminal. Ah, yes, all right. There's out to sea there. Let me see if I could get the airport. No, it's cloudy. Then you got Goat Island out here that the Chinese wanted the American on. What a war. So we get, at least we get the mountains of Pinnacle for watch to see what the Chinese do. This is Pinnacle. This is Spanish Town. Yes, and we forward to the gravesite of the matriarch of the Rastafari movement. Tenet Bent Howell. Yes, they continue to clear. And yeah, they continue to clear for building. Yeah, who gave them this permission? Nobody. My brother, last thing. When there's no law for the outlaw, isn't it called a failed state?
Yes.
Well, Jamaica is a failed state.
A failed state.
All right. Give thanks, my
Failed
brother.
state.
All right. Rastafari lives.
Yes.